వరకు
Okay, good morning, students. Today, I want to explain about amortized analysis. Amortized analysis topic in design and analysis of algorithms. Okay, amortized analysis topic and design and analysis of algorithms. Already explained in our design and analysis of algorithms, the topics covered are what is an algorithm, what is the specification of algorithm, pseudocode conventions, recursive algorithm, performance analysis, space complexity, time complexity. All these topics are already covered in the previous classes. Now the topic is amortized complexity. Okay, what is amortized complexity or amortized analysis? Amortized analysis is a method for analyzing a given algorithm's complexity or how much of a resource, especially time or memory, it takes to execute. So the motivation for amortized analysis, is that looking at the worst case runtime per operation rather than per algorithm. So in the data structures, we are performing several operations. For example, so several operations are maybe insertion, deletion. When you consider some stack, we are calling these insertion and deletion operations as push and pop operations. In the case of queues, we are using the same thing with the names as NQ and DQ operation. So already you know in the data structures or in various data structures like stacks, queues, arrays, linked lists, we are performing the various operations like insertion, deletion, searching. All these are operations performed on the stack or in the any data structure. So we are considering here the various operations performed on the data structures, and we are taking the average. Some operations cost more, some operations cost less, the cost of the operations. So the motivation for amortized analysis is that looking at the worst case runtime per operation. That means we have the several operations like insert, delete. We have several operations like insert, delete, So all these operations, when you consider sequence of operations, suppose some insertions are performed initially. After that, some deletions are performed. After that, again, some insertions are performed. So this sequence of operations, suppose I1, I2, I3, I4, all these are insertions. D1, D2, D3, all these are deletions. So I1, I2, I3, D1, I4, I5. So all these are the several operations we are performing. So some operations we are taking as more cost, some operations are less cost. So worst case runtime per operation rather than per algorithm. So worst case means the operations we are performing on the data structure which are more expensive and which takes more amount of, which costs more. So while certain operations for a given algorithm may have a significant cost in resources, so other operations may not be as costly. So the amortized analysis considers both the costly and less costly operations together over the whole series of operations of the algorithm. That means various operations we are performing, in those operations which are more costly and which are less costly, we are combining these operations cost, we are averaging. So we are performing some analysis on this based on the operations performed on the data structures. So this is called amortized analysis. So the time required to perform a sequence of data structure operations in average over all the operations performed. That is a amortized analysis. So amortized analysis guarantees the average performance of each operation in the worst case input. What is the performance of each operation when it is more expensive? That is a worst case. Suppose here we are saying worst case. What is the example for worst case and best case? Suppose when you consider an array, we want to search for an element in the array. It consists of some 10 elements. Suppose the element which you want
తాత
are available.
అయిపోయింది, అంతా అయిపోయింది. కొంచెం రెస్ట్ తీసుకోండి, లేదంటే రెస్ట్ ఇన్ పీస్.
So the element which is available.
ట్రీట్మెంట్ తీసుకోనంటావా? అయితే నేను తెచ్చిన మందులు వేసుకోనంటావా? పిల్లల కోసమైనా నీ ఆరోగ్యం గురించి కూడా ఆలోచించవా? ఇప్పుడు చెప్పవే, డాక్టర్ కొడతాడా? సౌందర్య గారి కొడుకు కొడతాడా? ఉంటుంది, నాకుంటుంది.
Sir, ఒకసారి okay, the time required to perform a sequence of data structure operations in average over all the operations performed. So amortized analysis guarantees the average performance of each operation in the worst case input. So here we can notice that average case analysis and probabilistic analysis are not the same thing as amortized analysis. So here we are saying that average case analysis and probabilistic analysis. So what is average case analysis? What is probabilistic analysis? In average case analysis, we are averaging over all the inputs we are taking. Since an algorithm consists of many number of inputs, so we are averaging over all the inputs. So probabilistic analysis, averaging over all random choices. In the case of amortized analysis, averaging over sequence of operations. So what are the various operations performed on the data structures like insert, delete, search, all these operations. So we are performing average over sequence of operations. Okay, in the case of amortized analysis of operations is averaged does not mean averaging over a distribution of inputs and no probability is considered. In this case, we do mean average cost in the worst case. So techniques used in amortized analysis. So we have the three important techniques: aggregate analysis, accounting method, and potential method. Three important techniques in amortized analysis are aggregate analysis, accounting method, and potential method. See the first one, aggregate analysis. In aggregate analysis, there are two steps are considered. So we are considering the important steps, two steps. We must show that a sequence of n operations takes t of n time in the worst case. Then we show that each operation takes t of n by n time on average. So what is the meaning of this one? Suppose when you consider sequence of operations, that is insertion, deletion, like sequence of operations, various insertions and deletions, I1, I2, I3, D1, D2, D3, like this various operations we are performing. If there are n operations, takes t of n time in the worst case. Then we show that each operation takes t of n by n. T of n by n means for n operations, it is t of total time is t of n time. But n operations means when you take the average of these operations, then t of n by n. This is for t of n by n months, n for one operation time. So this is a average time we have taken. Therefore, in aggregate analysis, each operation has the same cost. So a common example of aggregate analysis is we are taking as a modified stack. So in this stack, already you know, in data structures, stack is a linear data structure that have two important constant time operations. So a stack is a linear data structure, which is a last and first out data structure. That means we are inserting the elements in the stack. So which elements are inserted at the last will be taken. at the first element from the stack. So here we have two important operations, push operation and pop operation. So push operation puts an element on the top of the stack. Pop operation takes the top element of the stack and returns it. So we have the push and pop operations. Push element, insert the element, that is push element means insert the element into the stack. Pop means removing the element from the stack. Already you know these two operations. We are taking it as a constant time for implementing or for performing these are two operations. So these operations are both constant time. So a total of n operations will result. So in O of n total time. That means when you are performing n number of push and pop operations, push operation and pop operation we are performing. So total number of operations, if you consider n operations, then the amount of time taken for all these n operations is big O of n. New operation is added to the stack. Multi-pop of k will either pop the top k elements in the stack or if it runs out of the elements before that. So it will pop all of the elements in the stack and stop. Now consider the pseudo code. It is easy to see that this is not a constant time operation. So multi-pop is not a constant time operation. A multi-pop can run for at most n times, where n is the size of the stack. So the worst case runtime for multi-pop is O of n. That means what we are saying, multi-pop of s comma k or multi-pop of k. That indicates multi-pop of k indicates multiple number of elements to be removed from the stack. That means k number of elements are removed from the stack. Suppose when you consider the worst case means k equal to n, means n number of elements are removed from the stack. So in the worst case, the n number of elements are removed. So the time taken for removing n number of elements from the stack is O of n. So n multi-pop operations takes O of n square time. One multi-pop operation takes O of n time. N number of multi-pop operations takes O of n square time. N into O of n. So any sequence of n operations of multi-pop, pop, and push can take at most O of n time. So multi-pop, what is a multi-pop? This is a function that performs multiple number of pop operations on k number of elements. In the worst case, k is n, so it becomes n number of elements. So multi-pop is a function for removing the elements from the stack. It takes O of n time. So the only non-constant time operation in this stack can only take O of n time if there have also been n constant time push operations on the stack. So in the very worst case, there are n constant time operations and just one operation taking O of n time. So for any value of n, when you take any value of n, any sequence of multi-pop, pop, and push takes O of n time. So when you consider the multi-pop operation, pop operation, push operation, all these things, when you consider some sequence of operations, all these operations are n operations. So the time taken is O of n. So using aggregate analysis, T of n by n, that is equal to O of n by n, that is equal to O of 1. Why? T of n means time complexity of n number of operations. O of n means big O notation, upper bound. For n operations, time taken is O of n. So when you can say for one operation out of n operations, we are dividing it with n. That is, we are doing the average of the sequence of operations. Then time taken, that is equal to O of 1. That is big O of 1. That is a constant time for each operation. So this stack has an amortized cost of O of 1 per operation. Per operation, we are finding the amortized cost, that is O of 1. So when you can say in the aggregate analysis, we are taking the stack operations. So stack operation is push s comma x, meaning of this one is s is the stack and we are pushing an element x into the stack. Pop of s means we are removing an element from the stack. Multi-pop of s comma k means we are removing k number of elements from the stack s. Name of the stack is s and k is the number of elements in the stack. So multi-pop of s comma k, the pseudo code for multi-pop of s comma k, that is s is the stack and k is the number of elements. Now when you want to perform k elements removing from the stack, that is multi-pop operation on stack s. The first step is while not stack empty of s, s is not empty. That means in the stack there are some elements and k not equal to 0. That means we are removing the k number of elements. That k number of elements is not equal to 0. So do pop of s means remove the elements from the stack. How many number of elements you need to remove? K number of elements we need to remove. So k number of elements you want to remove. So for this, k equal to k minus 1. So we are repeating this while loop until the stack is empty and removing each and every element, that is k number of elements already placed in the stack. Now we want to remove those k elements. So the accounting method named because it borrows ideas and terms from accounting. So already explained, there are three important methods in the amortized analysis: aggregate method, accounting method, and potential method. So second one is the accounting method. The accounting method named because it borrows ideas and terms from accounting. From accounting, we are taking the ideas. So that is why this is called accounting method. So here, each operation is assigned a charge. We are assigning charge. So called the amortized cost. For each operation, we are assigning the amortized cost. Some operations can be charged more or less than they actually cost. That means when we are taking the actual cost, some operations are charged more than the actual cost. Some operations charged less than the actual cost. If an operation's amortized cost exceeds its actual cost, we assign the difference called a credit to specific objects in the data structure. Suppose the operations amortized cost and the actual cost. When you compare these two, amortized cost is more than the actual cost. We assign the difference. What is the difference? That is amortized cost minus actual cost. That is called a credit to specific objects in the data structures. Particular objects, we are assigning this credit value. Credit can be used later to help pay for other operations whose amortized cost is less than their actual cost. So here credit we are using can be used later to help pay for other operations. For other operations, we are applying the create, whose amortized cost is less than their actual cost, less than the actual cost. So create can never be negative in any sequence of operations. When you consider various operations, create can never be negative. That is the difference. The difference is a creative. Now see, the amortized cost of an operation is split between an operation's actual cost and create, that is either deposited or used up. So create is used or deposited. Each operation can have a different amortized cost, unlike aggregate analysis. So in the aggregate analysis, we are considering that we considered that each operation is having the same cost. But in the case of accounting method, each operation can have a different amortized cost. So choosing the amortized cost for each operation is important, but the cost must always be the same for a given operation, no matter what sequence of operations, just like for any method of a amortized analysis. So in this, we are taking the modified stack, looking back at the stack. The costs of each operation were push, pop, multi-pop. There are three important operations. When you consider the cost of pushing an element, it costs 1. Pop costs 1. Multi-pop, minimum of stack dot size, comma k. That means in the multi-pop, we are taking the minimum of stack size, comma k. Which one is the minimum? We will consider. So these are the costs of various operations. Now multi-pops cost will either be k if k is less than the number of elements in the stack, or it will be the size of the stack. Assigning amortized costs to those functions we get. Now consider the amortized cost. Push operation takes the value to $2. Pop operation costs 0. Multi-pop operation costs 0. So amortized cost for multi-pop is constant, while its actual cost is a variable. When you consider the amortized cost for multi-pop operation, this is a constant value. This is a constant value. When you compare with, while its actual cost, it is a variable. So the final step is to show that it is possible to pay for any sequence of operations using the amortized cost. Amortized cost ఉపయోగించి మనం ఏం చేస్తాం? A final step is to show that it is possible to pay for any sequence of operations using the amortized cost. We are using the amortized cost. So it is helpful to do this step using money. So $1 will equate to 1 cost. We are saying push operation 1 cost. That means $1. Pop operation 1 cost. That is $1. Like this, we are assuming that the cost 1 means it is a $1. If we think of the stack as an actual stack of plates, this becomes more clear. So we are assuming that we are, for a clear understanding of what is a stack or clear demonstration of stack, we are assuming that there are plates and plates are arranged in a stack. So pushing a plate into the stack is the act of placing that plate of the top of the stack. That means in the stack, you are pushing a plate. Pushing a plate means you are placing that particular plate on top of the stack. Popping, it is the act of taking the top plate off. So when a plate is pushed into the stack, In this example, we pay $1 for the actual cost of the operation. So actual cost is $1 and we are left with $1 of credit. That means push operation is a $1 cost. So we are placing the $1 on that object. That is a credit. This is because we take the amortized cost for push $2, subtract the actual cost $1 and are left with $1. We will place that dollar on top of the plate we just pushed. So what is the meaning of this one? For pushing operation, it costs $1. That is the actual cost. For when you consider amortized cost of the pushing operation, that is a $2. So 2 minus 1, $1. That is a credit. We will place that dollar on top of the plate we just pushed. So at any point in time, every plate in the stack has $1 of rate on it. The $1 on top of the plate will act as the money needed to pop the plate off. That means to remove the plate. To remove the plate, how much amount of money is needed? $1. So we need $1 to pop the plate off because the amortized cost of popping is $0. So minus the actual cost of popping is $1, is minus $1. So at any point in time, every plate has exactly $1 on top of it, which can be used to pop it off the stack. So multi-pop uses pop as a subroutine. Already explained in the pseudocode about multi-pop. So calling multi-pop on the stack costs no money, but the pop subroutine within multi-pop will use the $1 on top of each plate to remove it. Because there is always $1 on top of every plate in the stack. In the top of every plate, there is $1. Crate is never negative. So we are created. That means it is not negative. So as this is the same idea that was explored in aggregate analysis. So in the aggregate analysis, the same idea is also considered. So what performing pop or multi-pop does not make any sense until something has been pushed onto the stack. So there is nothing to pop off. We are not popping the element. So the worst case cost of n operations when you consider is O of n in the worst case. Okay, that is about aggregate analysis and accounting method. Next one is the potential method. So what is a potential method? It is similar to the accounting method. However, instead of thinking about the analysis in terms of cost and credit, when we consider the analysis, the potential method thinks of work already done as potential energy that can pay for later operations. That means for the remaining operations, we can pay this one. This is similar to how rolling a rock up a hill creates potential energy that then can bring it back down the hill with no effort. That means once the rock is rolled up to move to the highest point of hill, then just release it. It can without applying any energy with its potential energy, it will move down, it will roll down. So in the same way, in our potential method, same idea we are considering. Unlike the accounting method, however, potential energy is associated with the data structure as a whole, not with individual operations. instead of considering individual operations like insertion, deletion, all these things. But in this case, we are considering a data structure as a whole, all the operations. So the potential method works as follows. It starts with an initial data structure, D0. D0 is the initial data structure. Then n operations are performed, turning the initial data structure into D1, D2, D3 up to Dn. That means initial data structure is D0. We are performing some n number of operations. After that, we will get the data structures D1, D2, D3, Dn up to Dn. Ci will be the cost associated with the ith operation, and Di is the data structure resulting from the ith operation. So here we are using the two terms. One is Ci, another one is Di. Ci means cost of the ith operation. Di means the data structure resulting from the ith operation. After applying that particular operation on the data structure, what is the new data structure which is developed? That is Di. So phi is the potential function which maps the data structure D to a number phi of D. Phi is the potential function. We are applying on the data structure D, on the data structure D. So which maps the data structure D to a number phi of D. The potential associated with that data structure phi is the phi of D is the potential. What is the potential energy? Potential function applied on the data structure D. The amortized cost of the ith operation is defined by AI is equals to Ci plus Di, Ci plus phi of Di minus phi of Di minus 1. This is the amortized cost of the ith operation. The amortized cost of the ith operation is Ai equals to Ci. Ci means the cost of the operation plus phi of Di, that is potential cost, minus phi of Di minus 1. Difference of Di and Di minus 1. Potential energies of potential function of Di and Di minus 1 is added to Ci. We will get A. A is the amortized cost of the ith operation. So that means that over n operations, the total amortized cost will be. So what is the total amortized cost? Sigma I equal to n Ci is equals to sigma I equal to 1 to n Ci plus phi of Di minus phi of Di minus 1 is the total amortized cost. So that is equals to sigma I equal to 1 to n Ci plus phi of Dn minus phi of D0. We are taking phi of Dn minus phi of D0. Dn means data, D means data structure. Dn means we are considering the data structure in the nth operation. Already explained. So D0 means initial data structure. The difference plus Ci for all the I values. All the I values means for all the operations. We are summing up. You will to get the total amortized cost. So in this method, it is required that phi of Di is greater than or equal phi of D0. So for all I, to prove that the total amortized cost of n operations is an overall upper bound, on the actual total cost A typical way is to do this is to be defined. Okay, phi of d naught is equals to 0 and show that phi of di is greater than or equal to 0. D naught is equal to 0. Phi of di greater than or equal to 0. Since we are performing the insertion operations or deletion operations, some operations we are performing and we get the potential value. So over the course of the sequence of operations, the ith operation will have a potential difference of phi of di minus phi of di minus 1. That means di indicates ith operation data structure. I minus 1 indicates I minus 1th operation the data structure. We are taking the difference of these two potential values to get the that is the ith operation will have a potential difference. That the potential difference of these two to get the ith operation potential difference. If this value is positive, that means phi of di minus phi of di minus 1 is positive, then the amortized cost A is an overcharge for this operation and the potential energy of the data structure will increase. If it is negative, it is an undercharge and the potential energy of the data structure will decrease. So when the potential energy of the data structure, when you consider, will increase when the difference phi of di minus phi of di minus 1 is positive. When the potential energy of the data structure will decrease, the potential energy of the data structure will decrease when phi of di minus phi of di minus 1 is negative. That is phi of di minus 1 is having the more value comparing with phi of di. Then in that case, you will get the negative value. Negative value means undercharge. So the potential energy will decrease. Let us look back at the modified stack. Already considered the stack. Stack is a linear data structure, last in first out data structure. The potential function chosen will simply be the number of items on the stack. So how many number of items are there in the stack? For example, 10 items are there. Then the potential function will be selected based on that 10 items. So therefore, before the sequence of operations begins, phi of d naught is equal to 0. Phi of d naught is equal to 0. Since there are no operations started on the data structure D, so before the sequence of operations begins, phi of d naught is equal to 0 because there are no items in the stack. In the stack also, there are no items. So we can't perform any operations on the stack. So it is equal to 0. For all future operations, it is clear that phi of di is greater than or equal to 0 because there cannot be a negative number of items in a stack. Now see this one, calculating the potential difference. Calculating the potential difference for a push operation, we find that phi of di minus phi of di minus 1 is equal to stack size plus 1 minus stack size equal to 1. That means when you consider di and di minus 1, the difference of potential functions, potential values is stack size, stack dot size, that is size of the stack, plus 1 minus size of the stack, that is equal to 1. So the total amortized cost of the push operation is A is equal to CI. That is the total amortized cost. All of these operations have an amortized cost of big O of 1. So any sequence of operations of length n will take O of n time. When you consider any sequence of operations of length n, that is a O of n time. Since it was proven that phi of di greater than or equal to phi of d naught, For all I, this is a true upper bound. The worst case of n operations is therefore O of n. So when you consider this one, we have the sequence of operations of length n, that is O of n time. Already proven, already given the proof that phi of di greater than or equal to phi of d naught. Always phi of d naught is 0 and phi of di is more than the 0. So phi of di is greater than or equal to phi of d naught. For all I values, this is a true upper bound. This is a true upper bound. The worst case of n operations when you consider, that is O of n. So these are the three important methods of amortized analysis. Those three methods are the aggregate analysis, the accounting method, and the potential method. So amortized analysis refers to finding the average running time per operation over a worst case sequence of operations. That is the definition of amortized analysis. So amortized analysis means finding the average running time per operation. Per operation, what is the average running time? What is the time? Over a worst case sequence of operations. That means we are in those operations, we will consider some worst case operations also. The method requires knowledge of which series of operations are possible. So most commonly the case with data structures which have state that carries on between the operations. Okay, when you consider various topics covered up to today in our syllabus, see in the unit 1 syllabus, we have introduction. In this, we have an algorithm. What is an algorithm? Algorithm specifications of various algorithms and pseudocode conventions and recursive algorithm and the performance of analysis of algorithms, space complexity and time complexity. All these things are covered. And amortized complexity is also completed now. So when we say time complexity, what are the important notations? In asymptotic notations, we have asymptotic notations. In asymptotic notation, we have big O notation, big theta notation, big omega notation. So big O notation means that works as upper bound, whereas big omega notation works as lower bound. So we have the various notations regarding practical complexities and performance measurement. Okay, performance measurement is also completed. That one we will see later. If any topics not covered. So what is a little O notation? The asymptotic upper bound provided by O notation may or may not be asymptotically tight. So the bound 2n square is equal to O of n square is asymptotically tight, but the bound 2n equal to O of n square is not. So we use O notation to denote the upper bound that is not as asymptotically tight. Okay, try to practice the time complexities of various algorithms. Okay. Okay, dear students, thank you. Any doubts in the subject? I hope that everyone is following the subject.
అందరు వీడియో
If you have any doubt,
వీడు చెప్పే మోడల్ మైక్ మ్యూట్ చేయాలంట. వీడు చెప్పే క్లాస్
if you have any doubts, we will discuss.
విన్నా కానీ బీకే లెవెల్ ఫస్ట్ క్లాస్ స్టార్ట్ చేయబే. సార్ వాళ్ళ భావన ఉంది సార్.
If you have any doubts, we can discuss. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All of you can leave the class now. Okay, dear students, if you have any doubts, you can contact me on the phone. I will explain if any doubts.